Hey guys, Midday here. If you're new to the channel, I scale service-based businesses using complete lead generation systems, predominantly using paid ads, and I post everything to do with funnels, paid ads, lifestyle, and everything in between. And if you're tuning in again, thanks for tuning in. Last video, I spoke about the best funnel to use if you're a real estate business trying to generate qualified leads on Instagram and Facebook. So definitely give that a check. And if you can't tell already, today I'll be talking about the funnel that I would use to scale Brez Scales to £1 million plus months. Okay, so let's get right into it. So essentially, we would run creative and audience testing at the start, which is pretty standard with pretty much any lead generation campaign. These are the audiences that I think would make sense based on his business. Had a look into Brez Scales. As you can see, he's already got such a strong organic following already, almost 700k on Instagram and 275k on YouTube at the time of this video. What he does really well is lifestyle. Brez Scales is one of the best doing it at the moment. He's a young guy just like me, and he scales brands through paid ads. And essentially, he just posts a lot of content, lifestyle content. He doesn't really post a lot of business content. You have different types of business people that post different types of content. He's one that's gone down the lifestyle route. And again, people buy from people. If they see you're making the money, then of course they're going to be attracted to that. So we're going to use that when deciding what type of strategy to use with Brez, as you should always look at what's working well and use that to your advantage. So the audiences that I've chosen to kind of test when running ads for Brez Scales would be broad. Almost, I can't remember the last time, unless it's retargeting, you're pretty much always going to run broad, especially nowadays. We've got a lookalike of his followers. If there's any way we can get a kind of customer list or kind of list from people from his YouTube as well, depending on how strong that is, that would be interesting to test. Again, probably would be quite weak, to be honest, as people are there more for lifestyle rather than business. But I'll definitely take a 1% lookalike of his followers or anyone who's engaged with his Instagram. Test that out because he's got such a big, strong organic. That's definitely something that I would love to test with him. I'll definitely test broad, and I'll test lookalike of qualified booked calls, or at least warm leads, because someone who's got 700,000 followers should have a good list of warm leads. And we'll also be testing interest stacking, which would be certain triggers, certain interests, certain behaviors, depending on who exactly he's trying to target and his exact ICP. So what I would start off with here is a direct response ad, and then we would go into, so I'll go through the ideal journey of a lead first. So they watch the direct response ads after coming through one of these audiences. They come through, they come to his opt-in page, they opt in, watch the VSL, complete the type form to pre-qualify people, then they book a call, and then they go to the thank you page and they become a conversion. That's the ideal journey of a lead. However, even if they do become a lead and there's no friction, all leads will be given 10-second reads. So anyone who's watched 10 seconds of his direct response ads will be retargeted with his lifestyle content. So reels, these will be real ads, story ads, of just different types of content, mostly lifestyle, but we'll also test different stuff out. The business kind of and harder to digest content will come later on, but the easy to digest lifestyle content will go out to anyone who's watched 10 seconds of these ads, and they will be retargeted to follow his Instagram, whether they are a lead or not. They retarget to follow his Instagram. This way we can increase his Instagram, and they also have the chance to funnel down through his Instagram. And what we're also going to have is we're going to have a setter into his Instagram who will be DMing every single follower that comes through and trying to convert them into a paid client. This allows him to continue growing his Instagram, and it also allows people to become more familiar with him, because the problem is, as I said, we're in a trust recession. Barry always says we need at least 7 hours of content viewed to become someone to become a sale. That's on average how much it takes. So why not speed that up with paid ads? We get everyone watching his content becoming warmer and familiarize themselves with him. They'll see his ad, then they'll see the content, the lifestyle content. They'll be like, wow, okay, this guy isn't capping. This guy knows what he's talking about. He must be doing something right for him to afford all these luxuries. So that's how we're going to get people warmed up. And on top of that, this setter is going to be in the DMs trying to get people to book a call with him. And then obviously they book a call and they come down to the thank you page. The reason why this may work so well is because he has such a strong following, and people will see his Instagram and build trust naturally. And of course he naturally post stuff in his story, post his highlights, and it'll be easier to kind of warm people up. And these people don't need to convert straight away. These people can convert next week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months. That's the beauty of it. Like, the sales cycle can be as long as it needs to be. Obviously the shorter the better, but nothing wrong with a longer sales cycle as long as we are getting people converting naturally through the ads. So anyone who watches direct response ads but land onto his opt-in page and do not convert to become a lead, or anyone who watches 50% of his direct response ads and do not become a lead, they will be retargeted with FOMO ads. So this would be just a simple ad of see my content, still hesitant to take the next step, and then kind of talk about how he had another client called James or Jack, and he was in the same position. Within 3 months of working with him, he made his first 200k. That's a short kind of case study, very brief case study, and then a little bit of FOMO at the end, maybe talking about how you're only taking a limited amount of people, or your August cohort or July cohort is very limited, there's only a few remaining slots, or like you're closing it down. Just some sort of urgency to tell people, hey man, look, like, make your decision fast, because you won't be able to make a decision forever. Okay, that will get people who are hesitant, or people who think, oh yeah, you know what, I'll just opt in later. It's going to give them the push that they need. This is going to increase your sales cycle so people can convert faster. I'm a big fan of urgency retargeting, because people will not purchase. People will say I'll purchase later, but you want to avoid those kind of people by getting them to convert now rather than later. Okay, so people come into the opt-in page, they opt in, they become a lead, and you're going to run retargeting, middle funnel retargeting for people that have become a lead but haven't booked a call. So essentially, this is just talking about proving why you need to go to why choose Brez over every other person. Some social proof. So it will be we can do testimonial carousels retargeted to these leads. So we retarget these leads with testimonials. So they're seeing the testimonials, they're realizing, okay, cool, this guy's got the lifestyle. You know, he talks about the stuff. You know, he talks about what he does. Now, like, we actually have proof. Like, yeah, it's all good. It's all good to him talking about the case study, but can he actually, like, have someone else say from their own mouth that is what he's doing, and if he does it well? So we'll have that section. We'll have that to be able to warm people up with the CTA to book a call. You could even directly call them out, saying, hey, like, if you're seeing this, you've opted in but still not taking action of booking a call, then you could do another case study, a bit more social proof. Or what you can do is highlight his unique mechanism here. So what he does well, what he does better than others. Why him? Again, this is to get people to show that, look, this guy is the real deal. This is what he's talking about. They've seen the lifestyle. They've seen all of this, all of that. And that's how we can get people to kind of push them and say, okay, cool, he's ticking every box. This guy knows what he's doing. This can be a bit more harder to digest language now. It doesn't have to be simple. These people are opting in, they're interested. They probably have something to do with business. They probably are business owners, because you want to scale people. So they'll probably have an idea you don't want beginners. So probably understand what you're talking about here anyway. They've been warmed up. And send people to the VSL where they get the type form, they can book a call. And then we have the objection handling section, where everyone who books a call is retargeted with certain objections, certain questions. So maybe frequently asked questions are asked to Brez. It could be just a quick video of him spit firing. So he has a question, oh, is this for me? I get people ask me all the time, is this for me? And he says, yeah, this is for you if, this is for you if, this is for you if. Then there may be another question asked, people ask is, oh, like, I work a 9 to 5, is this will I be able to do this? Then he'll be like, yeah, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this. So just him handling objections, because essentially people booking a call have objections. You want to handle these objections before they come to the call, rather than later. So this sales call is more of a kind of business call rather than a education call. As a lot of closers complain that these, especially from cold traffic and paid ads, they complain that these sales calls become education calls, and that's not what we want. We want these people to know exactly what's going on and their objection handling and who you are when they come to the call. It's just whether they can afford it or not. And they can also be targeted with a bit more advanced content, maybe him breaking down stuff and etc. But it doesn't have to be anything too complicated. And that, I believe, will help people warm people up. So they'll be retargeted with lifestyle content, they're retargeted with case studies on FOMO, they're retargeted with unique mechanisms and why Brez testimonials, and they'll be retargeted with objection handling. I believe because of Brez's strong social presence and his strong lifestyle, he will be able to have a walk in the park with this type of funnel. Obviously, as you can see, I've just kind of skimmed over the funnel. I'm not going into it into detail. Obviously, if you pay me, I'm more than happy to go into this in full detail and apply this funnel to you, or apply a funnel that works with you the best. But as you can see, this funnel would work for Brez. If he was to apply this funnel, he'll be able to scale to 100k to £1 million $1 million plus a month if it's done properly. There's other things you can do, like certain exclusions and certain other targeting that would also apply, and certain other retargeting that would also apply. But can't give every gem away, unfortunately. But is this something you're interested? You want to see how it helps you scale your business? Feel free to book a call. And if you haven't checked out any of my other videos, feel free to check them out. There'll be links somewhere here. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.